Hi guys. So we're going to continue this week in our genre study of fables, and in doing so we are going to be reviewing character traits because fables are an amazing way to see into how a character acts and feels, and you can get some really great text evidence from fables as well because they're very easy to understand. So we are going to first quickly review our learning target for the whole genre study of fables. And if you remember, that was to recognize the elements of fables and to identify the moral or lesson in a fable. Today we're going to add one more, and that is to identify the character traits of the characters in our fables. So, in order for us to review character traits, I wanted us to use The Lion and the Mouse, which was the fable that you guys read independently last week and answered some comprehension questions on. So let's take a look at our anchor chart for today on The Lion and the Mouse, and we will then use this to help us to understand our fable of the day, which is the grasshopper and the ants. So, character traits from the lion and the mouse. And here we have our lion and we have our mouse. So here's some basic traits that we can come up with about the lion. He was big, he was fierce, he was strong. And the mouse typically is thought of to be small, weak, and timid. Now, in The Lion and the Mouse, our lion here, our friend lion, right, got woken up by the mouse. He was going to eat the mouse, and the mouse begged him, please don't eat me. I will repay you one day. I'll be able to help you, and I promise that I won't go back on my word. So the lion, he was proud. He thought he was better than the others. He was like, yeah, right. That little mouse isn't going to be able to help me, but he's probably right. He's not going to make a very good meal, so I'll let him go, right? So he was proud. He thought he was better than others. He was kind of rude and disrespectful for how he treated the mouse badly. He did not believe that mouse could help him. He mocked him. He laughed at him. He was like, yeah, right. And he was foolish. He was foolish in the thought that the mouse was useless to him and too small, because we know what happened in the end, right? So Mouse, on the other hand, Mouse was humble. He showed that lion respect even when maybe the lion didn't deserve it because he was, treating him badly. He was loyal. He kept his word. When he knew lion needed help, he went back and he helped him. He was kind and he was considerate. He kept his word and he helped the lion. He was brave in his rescue attempt, and he was clever because he thought of that plan to chew through the net to let the lion go. Now, as you heard me going over those traits that we all saw in The Lion and the Mouse, one thing that I want to note that is very important is the use of going back and citing text evidence. So when your question says, show evidence from the text to support your answer, you absolutely positively have to do that. It's not a choice. Now, if you told me that Mouse was brave, let's say, you would have to be able to tell me from what you read why you felt Mouse was brave. So what in the story made you think that? So Mouse was brave. I know this because in The Lion and the Mouse it said, and you would write what he said, or what the story had said, what the fable said. The reason why I'm pointing this out, boys and girls, is because during our work last week for The Lion and the Mouse, it was noted that very, very few of you actually answered some of those questions completely. It is important that you are taking the time to go through and really reread your answer to make sure that you answered the whole question. If it says that it needs text evidence to support your answer, it's not an option. It's not something that I can pull out of your brain. Oh, this person, I know they know it. Let me just go into their brain and see what they say. We can't do that. You have to be able to write it down. Where did you learn that from that character? What did you learn from the text that showed you that you knew that Mouse was brave, or that you knew that the lion was proud? Okay? So when you're answering your questions, make sure you're doing them very carefully. You will have two today to do. One will be a response for our grasshopper and the ants, and the other one will be another fable very similar to this one, that you will have to read the passage and answer the questions, find the moral, things along those lines. So I want you to be able to take the time and really think about what you're doing, because some of those questions are going to ask you to state text evidence. Now, that brings us to our fable read aloud of the day. Now, the read aloud of the day is The Grasshopper and the Ants. Now, this is also written by Jerry Pinkney, who wrote, or retold, I should say, the Little Red Hen. Now, this book is a little bit different because it is a retelling of The Grasshopper and the Ants in a way that is not exactly like the traditional version. So, most times fables are told in the traditional way, as the traditional tale has been carried along, through print. Jerry Pinkney does not do that. He actually takes it and does a lot of the pages just using the illustrations. So you're going to see that some of the pages I'm just holding up and I'm showing you, and we're kind of just talking about them. Okay? So you really have to take the time to be focused on the screen right now to listen to the story and to be able to look at the screen, not just listen. Okay? So let's begin The Grasshopper and the Ants. Get on the page. Okay. It says, "Why work so hard?" sang Grasshopper. "It's spring and time to go fishing." "No time to relax," said the ants. If you look, the ants are working. And here's our grasshopper, and he's relaxing, and he's fishing. "Why labor so long?" Grasshopper chirped. "It's summertime. Let's have a picnic of fresh, yummy leaves. Come join me in making music." Think about what you know about the setting and characters so far. What is the setting? Think about it in your head. What time of the year do you think it is? Who are the main characters? Why do you think those ants are so busy? "No summer light to race," replied the ants. "Autumn will be here soon." That's a little clue as to why they're so busy. Take a look. There's our guy, Grasshopper, and he's like got a banjo out and he's playing music, and the ants are carrying food. See them? And they're like, autumn's going to be here any day, and autumn, as we know, is another word for fall, so that's a little clue to us. "Why toil so steady?" asked Grasshopper. "It's fall, and the world is a playground of leaves. Oh, how their colors twirl and glide. Come dance and sing." There's Grasshopper. He's right there. And look at all around him. And look at our friends the ants. They're kind of all over the outside of the page, and they are working. Look at this wonderful mountain of leaves. Come play. Grasshopper's still trying hard to get his friends to play. You notice anything about the amount of other friends on these pages compared to the page before it? It's a lot less. Another clue. And oh, how lovely. Oh, how I love the sparkle of the first snow. Come see. And there he is in the first snow, enjoying the view. And it looks like what? See any other guys around him? I don't think I do. I think he might be by himself. "Working can wait," Grasshopper said. "Wintertime is for making snow angels and snow hoppers." Uh-oh. He's making snow angels and snow hoppers, which is, I guess, a grasshopper's version of a snowman. If only someone would join me. Grasshopper shivered. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. See the leaves blowing? How do you think Grasshopper feels now? I think he's probably cold and lonely. Oh, there he is again. Kind of just walking from his snow hopper. And he sees way over there a light. See it where my finger is? He's heading toward a tree in the distance where he sees that light. What do you think he's going to find there? Gets to the door. Right? And he looks in. Who's there? Who's inside? It's the ants. Look at them. What do you think they're thinking? What do you think those ants are thinking? Oh, take a look. That's what they were thinking. The ants in that tree turned the grasshopper rather, away. They sent him away. Right? To turn somebody away means to say, nope, you're not wanted here. Why do you think they did that? Think back to all those other pages about what was going on in those stories, or on those pages, and think about why you think the ants might have turned Grasshopper away. Oh, this is a cool page. Wait till you see this one. Look. So look, all the ants, right? They're here. Right? They're working. They're under the ground, right? Because ants live in the ground. You see? Look at the snow up at the top. The snow. And there's their tunnels. There's their ways in, right? And they're working hard. You look, they're weaving. They're cooking. They're carrying things in baskets. Moving things. Take a look at this. Let's see what's beneath this flap. Let's see. Maybe you see this. It's so cool. Look. What do you see above the ground? You see Grasshopper. Look, that's below the ground, where they live, and that's above the ground, right? And he's walking away. Why? What does this illustration show? Does it show two things that are going on at one time in two completely separate settings? I'd say it does. How cool is that? So let's take a look and see what happens. I think you're going to be surprised. So here we have, that's the picture that was on the last page. You see Grasshopper, and he's kind of feeling defeated. He's feeling let down. He's like, man, I'm all alone, and now what do I do? Right? Oh, it gets better. So there's the ant. There's the grasshopper rather, there is Queen Ant. And she says, a cup of tea, asked Queen Ant. How kind of you, said Grasshopper. Remember, Grasshopper's cold, he's lonely, and Queen Ant decided to let him in. And if you look, she brings him in. See that? She lets him in. And look at that last page. Look at that. They're sitting together. See that? I feel like I missed. Okay. So, that's the end. Now, Jerry Pinkney did not state the moral or lesson in this story. So you guys are going to have to imply. You guys are going to have to figure out what was implied based on what happened in the grasshopper and the ants to figure out the lesson or moral. So let's quickly go back through it. Here we have Grasshopper. He wants to play, he wants to dance, he wants to have fun. And the ants are like, we have stuff to do. Can't do it, right? And then when that winter weather came and he had his fun and then he realized he was all alone, he saw that light and he was like, ooh, somebody's gonna let me in. And those ants said, can't do it. Nope. You didn't work all year long. And we did. We worked really hard. Our hard work's paying off. And you don't have anything. So that's a little hint for you guys, okay? So now, I want you to think about the elements of fables, right? So, animals that take on human characteristics and traits, which we give you a couple seconds to think of it. Say it out loud if you know it. It's called personification. If you weren't sure, couldn't remember that big word, where animals take on human characteristics. So fables always have personification. We have simple plot, which is the problem and solution. Simple, easy to understand, right? And simple characters. And we have a lesson or a moral, and that's what we just talked about. So you guys are going to go on now into the links in Google Classroom, and you are going to complete the Google Doc on the grasshopper and the ants. Please, please, please make sure that you are answering the entire question. If it says text evidence, go back and take a look at this video and see if you can find the evidence that we read, or think about what was said in the story or what you saw. That is your text evidence. You do need to have it, okay? Once you are done with that, you are also going to do the other fable activity, where you are going to read the fable and you are going to answer the comprehension questions along with it. Please try your best. Please try to remember capitals and end marks the best that you can, and try to make sure that you are completing these in complete sentences. Do your best work. Don't rush. And I will talk to you at our 11 o'clock Zoom if you have any questions. Bye for now.